CB, after everything you've been through in your life, right? And the firsthand experience you have with policing in neighborhoods such as Racine, where you grew up, what can be done, man? What can happen now? What do we have to do as a country to come together on this issue?
Well, I think first we have to be honest about the history of how we got here, because I think that's what's being lost and distorted in the midst of all of this. We
Mm-hmm.
have to tell the real history. We have to talk about the uncomfortable real history of slavery. We have to talk about Jim Crow, old and new. We have to talk about the civil rights movement and talk about the economic gap. We have to talk about all those things and be, uh, real with having call to actions and real solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that once we're able to get there, that's when the needle will move, with racism as you see it visually, invisible racism, all those things can be tapped into. And then now you can just really have and head down that path for real change. But until you get to that point, until you get where you don't only acknowledge Black history in the month of February, and you're not addressing Black history year round, because Black history is history. When you think about economic inclusion, one of the major ways that America was built with all these private institutions from a capital standpoint was cotton. That was off the back of Black people, and we never got paid for it. So I think that it's important that we talk about that, and going forward, and very important that we continue to educate and inform our kids. But what's different from all the movements that I've seen in the past and what I'm seeing right now in current time is that young people are super engaged and informed. You see multiple generations out there on the front line. You don't just see one generation, 40 and up or 35 and up with the baby boomers or something like that. You see, 3 or 4 generations out there marching on the front line. And then this is the most important thing. You see it in 50 states and over 18 countries, but you see people from all walks of life being engaged. Not people that just look like me,
Mm-hmm.
people that look like you, people that look like, Black, brown, in between. Like, everybody's engaged into this discussion and this conversation to make sure that we drive real change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you say in your book that conversations about white people weren't pretty welcome in your household growing up, and that there was always talk about marching for this, marching for that. I mean, why is it so different now? I mean, I think you just answered the question, but in your Players Tribune article, you just said, man, quote, man, just say something. Like, just like, now's the time, right?
It really is. It's now isn't the time to say this doesn't apply to me, or I'm just uncomfortable, I don't want to talk about it. No, you have to have an opinion in this time.
Mm-hmm.
We was in a doomsday, you know what I mean, with the pandemic and everything happening, and live entertainment was taken away from us. So people's eyes wasn't focused on anything. We saw what happened to, the young king Emmett Till years ago, where the woman came out and told her truth and said, you know what, he was so innocent. I am sorry for what happened. And then all of a sudden, this is kind of the Emmett Till situation of our generation. So it's just very important that you don't be politically correct in this moment. And I said, you have to say something. It's not saying that I don't like you if I stand on this side. I'm not. No, it's the right side of justice.
Mm-hmm.
The optics tell you. If you're watching a movie and something happened bad, did that guy kill that man? It's a yes or no. It's not, oh, he killed them because
Mm-hmm.
the buildup of the story or whatever the storyline was. No, this is a universal wrong across the board. It was abuse of power. And we see more of that, and that's a bad thing. We talked about in America, in the United States of America, every 3 seconds, there's a police encounter with someone Black or brown in the United States of America, every 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That is a problem. And when you talk about defunding the police and all these different things, it's not saying that we don't need law enforcement, because that would be naive to ever think something like that. We need protection, we need patrol, but we need good law enforcement. We need people that understand the communities. We need people that are from these communities patrolling these communities so they know how, the pulse of the community and how these communities function and exist.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you very eloquently talk about it in your book that there was a detective, Detective Geller,
Yeah.
who could have changed your life one way or the other, and he decided to go the route of not booking you, not charging you for drug possession, and your life changed 180 degrees from that moment in time. So the message of that is that there's good police out there. I mean, it is possible, and I think the message that you're bringing in your book is so honestly, it's very uplifting. It's very positive.